Now, if you're watching us, I'm sure you're free of coronavirus. Good evening, East Africa. My name is Shadrach Kisame. Welcome to the desk, a discussion that is always worth hearing. This is a show that we are certainly and absolutely sure is going to impact the entire overview of the political, the social, and above all, the economic atmosphere of this country and the East African region as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for keeping yourselves on U24 television. Now, we trust that every time you watch U24, you're inspired, you're motivated, and above all, you are educated. Now, it is a somber mood for the entire world. The whole globe is actually suffering with the nightmare of coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a guest in the chair tonight. And before we actually went on air, he was telling me that they are over-exaggerating this virus. And he says that by the power of God, that makes us believe he's a believer or he's a Christian. He says by the power of Jesus, coronavirus is going to be eradicated. But that is a digress. He's going to be talking about real estate. Mr. Mukiza Julius. Now, Mr. Mukiza Julius is a family man. He's been married for coming to 9 years, 2 children, lovely babies. And I tell you, he is very knowledgeable when it comes to making money. Not just about real estate, but making money. Welcome to the show, Julius.
Well, thank you, Shadrach, for having me today.
All right.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. I'm really thankful that I got the invitation to come and be part of this wonderful show.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm ready to enjoy it.
Sounds very good. Now,
Yes.
actually, Julius was supposed to be here like 2 weeks ago, but he's a busy man to get. He's always on the plane, on the bus. Have you been on a border?
Yes. Every reasonable person trying to get somewhere quickly sometimes has to use it.
The border.
Yeah, so I have been on a border. Yeah.
How
I-
often?
I-
How
I-
often are you on a border?
Well, not so often, but in instances where, but I use safe border though.
Okay.
Yeah, in instances where I have to use it, I use it, especially in traffic hours. Yeah, but it's not something I encourage doing all the time. Yeah.
Okay. You are a man of numbers, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes I want
Figures. It's figures all the time. Figures. That is why
Yes.
you're so passionate about real estate, because you want to make money, yeah?
Exactly.
Before we even dive into the show,
Yes.
do you think Corona has affected people like you who are so much into digits and figures and numbers and dollars and shillings?
Yeah, not just people like me, but you, depending on how you define real estate, I think everybody has somehow felt the impact. For example, if you're in the Airbnb business, which I'm partially involved in,
Is that real estate as well, Julius?
it's part of real estate. It's
Wow.
part of real estate. You see hotels, people are canceling bookings. We read, there was an article that was released, I think Serena lost a lot of money because people had booked to come to the country and that gets cancelled. You look at the tourism industry, people might think tourism, but the accommodation of tourism is real estate. So people have lost money in that respect. So they might say some may want to postpone, but I think many will not be able to, because the whole fear that this thing has built up has brought people to this, and people have actually made losses. That's just a fact.
You've actually taken me to the question I wanted to ask you the most.
Yes.
Most of us, when it comes to real estate, and we're talking about real estate, I'm thinking about selling land and houses. On a broad perspective,
Yes.
you are professional.
Yeah.
What is it? It's in its entirety. I know you cannot exhaust it, but at
Yes.
least draw for us a picture. Where
Okay.
does it stretch to?
Okay. Individually, I've always, if you look at real estate, I look at the whole earth as a piece of real estate. That's how I look at it. No matter what you want to do, if you want to sleep in your house, you need land. If you want to set up shop somewhere, you need land. If you want to set up a hospital, you need land. So it's one of those things like breath that is required in whatever you're going to do. We are sitting in this building, it's seated on someone's land. Yeah, so for me, real estate is, yes, it's part and parcel of buying and selling of land. That's just a portion of it. But by and large, it's how you harness the value of that land to benefit you financially.
Right.
It shouldn't. Some people take the angle of I will buy and I will sell. Others take the of I will buy and I will build. Others take the angle I will buy and I will lease. So it's a very huge industry, and it cannot be exhausted. But The element is when you have land, how has it benefited you? That's why we have many people with huge chunks of real estate. You've heard of people with maybe 4 or 5 square miles.
Absolutely.
But you need to ask yourself one question. A guy who probably has an acre makes more money than a guy who has 3 square miles. Because the square miles you have, you're probably spending money to maintain them. If they're not bringing money into your pocket, yes, they are an asset, but they're not bringing any income to you.
All right.
But one guy has an acre and he's put probably 60 apartments. Each apartment is going for 1,000. This is hypothetical, but it also happens. Each
Yes.
apartment is going for maybe 1,000. Okay, let's be conservative and say $500. So if, let's say, 80% occupancy, and you're earning $500 from 80 apartments, and each is earning so that's almost 40. That's almost, if you say $1,000, that's almost $80,000
a month.
Are you seeing what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
But just from 1 acre.
My goodness.
So it's people need to change the way they look at real estate. It can't be linear in one direction.
Just selling.
It just open, and that's what has probably hindered this market of ours in Uganda. Everyone is doing the same thing. No one is innovating in real estate.
Julius, let me understand you properly.
Yes, please.
It is about, for you, it is about how do I develop this land to maximize the potential?
Exactly. That's what it's about. 100%.
Not just selling and being a land mogul or something.
No, being a land mogul is great. You can never distance yourself in that. In times like this, for example, when people who are who we'd call the local Ugandan in the villages, some of them need to sell their huge chunks of land to pay school fees for their children. And I'm sure you're aware of that. Like in months of January, where people claim the month is hard, you have people selling off their asset to liquidate themselves too. But you see, that is a very low-end way of doing things.
But they are frustrated. Julius, people are frustrated.
They are frustrated because we've made real estate very difficult, and yet it really isn't that difficult. It's one of the few industries I know that you can start out without even a shilling in your pocket.
How can you do that?
It's simple. You have a buyer, you have a seller. You bring them together, you make money. So it depends on how you create that. If Shadrach is selling his piece of land, and let's assume his brother Tom he has the money to buy that piece of land, I don't know how much money I need to tell Tom that Shadrach has the land you want. What have I used to make that money?
It's just your knowledge.
It's knowledge.
Wow.
You can actually start out.
It actually takes me to the next question I want to ask you before we go for a break.
Yes, please.
What is your assessment for the general real estate atmosphere of the country? What is your assessment so far? Where are we headed? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel, or are things getting darker and darker?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm a very spiritual person.
Okay.
I don't believe in things getting darker and darker if you're on my side of the fence.
Okay.
To the world, yes, they can't be getting darker and darker. But by and large, one of the biggest challenges that we have seen is, especially in Uganda, is probably comes with affordability of real estate and basic things like accommodation for the normal Ugandan who is working on a bank deal. Can he buy a house? Can he pay for a piece of land?
Can't they even?
Yes, unfortunately, it has been left to a very small cluster of people who own, which is really everywhere in the world, but it's so uneven that these days people even wake up one morning, I buy your land somewhere, and the next morning, after 2 weeks, I wake up and say it is this price. So there is no pricing strategy of real estate. You find challenges in not availability is there, you get, but people do not have money in their pockets to go and actually purchase this land or these houses or whatever piece of real, be it agricultural farmlands. People don't have land. So over time, I think people have started. There's also ways to use, as I said, innovate in real estate and find a way of using land that might not particularly be yours, but to maximize its potential to make money, then eventually own. And that's where things like the leasing aspect come in. But by and large, the general, people have been saying that Ugandan real estate market will undergo a bubble one time. I haven't yet seen that happen. I don't fully believe in it, But
Why you don't speculate?
No, I do. I do speculate at times. I will say that. But we have not been driven to that point where there will just be a bubble of sorts. We don't even yet have enough housing units.
Really?
No. For people to stay in, there's a huge lack, like of over how many units? As per the research I read, should be over 1 point something million units of that we need to just accommodate human beings. Imagine, that's just part of the residential real estate.
My goodness.
But by and large, the biggest challenge I've seen with our market is how fictitious it really is. The prices are very fictitious. You find a property in Kololo going for $2-3 million.
$3 million, absolutely.
And you wonder, how do I make $3 million back on this property? But interestingly, there are some people who have money to buy the $3 million property.
Absolutely. Now, Julius, on that note, I'm going to be going for a short break.
Yes,
but when we come back, we shall dive more into the discussion. And you actually tell men and women down there how to sustain real estate farm, because people are starting, they're investing lots of cash, but they never see their first, second, or third birthday. So we're going to be talking about that after the break.
Sure.
Now, I tell you, do not go away. We are still with Mr. Julius Mukiza. I tell you, this man has not just watched things on TV, picked them, pocketed them, and now he's giving them to us. No, he's a man who is hands-on. He's seen it all. He's been on the plane, on the bus, and on the border. He just told us, so do not go away. The desk returns in a bit. Well, if you've just joined us, I'm afraid you've missed a very powerful first segment of this very lovely and insightful episode of The Desk, where we're diving deep into the mystery of real estate. Now, thank you very much for watching The Desk. You can follow this lovely discussion on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can do the same for Danube Home. You can do the same for Shadrach Kisame. Just go to Facebook, Instagram, like the page. You can do it for U24. Just go there, and for Julius Mukiza. Now, the number on your screen is not for you to call me to get to Julius. If you want to get to Julius, go to Julius Mukiza Facebook, Julius Mukiza Instagram and Twitter. Talk to him, get in touch with him. Otherwise, if you call me, I will do as I always do. I do not have his number. Now remember, we're still broadcasting live here at Danube Home. Danube, they are actually open in this Corona season. They are open, and they're actually still giving their 50% discount, because Julius was telling me it's going to end. Jesus is Lord over everything, right?
Yes, 100%.
It's going to end.
It has to. Like all things, like all plagues in the world, it will end.
It's not super ordinary.
Yeah, we're not saying people don't do what they have been advised to do by their government. No. We are simply saying, above all things, faith over fear.
Okay.
That's just a pattern of man. The more you fear something, the more you draw it close to you. It's the same principle with faith. The more you have faith in something, the more you draw it close to you. So, I mean, every Tom, Dick, and Harry should know that.
Absolutely.
So, by and large, but let people take the advice that their government has given them in doing whatever they have to do to keep themselves safe. But at the end of it all, I personally know very soon it's right on that door. It will be history.
Absolutely. Now, I tell you, this man is a very spiritual man. He says faith over fear. Now, if you're watching us right now, you need to have more faith rather than fear. So, Julius, back into the discussion.
Yes, please.
A youth out there has their money.
Yes.
They've started a real estate firm at whatever level.
Yes, please.
Usually, like any other business, sustainability is key.
Yes.
But these firms actually never see first, second, at most they can never see even their third birthday. How do you sustain such a work environment or a workspace?
I'm going to give you the words of my spiritual father, Prophet Elvis. He said that we live in a popcorn generation.
Popcorn generation.
Exactly. They want to get into the oven and pop up and go ready to eat.
Oh, microwave immediately.
Microwave,
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. So what this does is people can start out well, but then they're hindered, one, by greed and lack of planning.
Greed and lack of planning.
Exactly. So someone gets their first check, the excitement they have is
Mercedes.
No, it's not bad to have a Mercedes. For me, I'm pro those things. I mean, if you want to buy yourself a Mercedes, as long as you know that you're certain that next week you'll also have the money to buy another one, I'm good for it.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell people to get into the whole
Be humble.
That false humility, be humble, blah blah blah. No, if it must. By the way, let me just digress a bit. A Mercedes could be the tool that gets you the deal that you want. You
Packaging.
understand? Exactly, packaging. If I was an architect and I was going to design your house, and I showed up in a beat up, run down room, yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not skilled, but you might judge me. If I slap you with maybe a $10,000 bill for my work, you'll be like, sure, no. I'll give you 1,000.
I'll give
you understand?
Because it's what you're worth.
If I showed up in a Mac and I give you a $10,000 bill, you have to decide within yourself whether to pay me or not, or choose a cheaper guy. But that's a story for another day.
So I have learned this one tonight. I am not appearing anywhere cheap. I'm not appearing anywhere cheap.
Just because you might not have it all now doesn't mean you have to look cheap.
Okay.
You understand? No, it's not necessary. And let's not follow the world's way that has trained us that look like this or that. No. You need to be authentic in who you are. But going back to what we were discussing about sustainability, it's rather frustrating that most people or businesses, and it's a statistic that has been thrown out there, and the truth of it sometimes I'm also doubtful, but yes, it is true. Many businesses don't celebrate their third birthdays. Now, if it's in the real estate market, I think real estate is one of the areas you need to be sure you're in for the long haul. Some people get into real estate for posterity, meaning to pass it on to their future generations, and not entirely about making a profit. But if you're doing it as a business, you need to be ready to go in the long haul.
Okay.
Like any life anyone will live, like any other business, get in for the long haul. Try and be patient,
Julius,
but also diversify.
You're going to get back there, but you actually brought out something important. Do you think people do things just to get something temporarily, and they don't want to, put all their eggs in one basket, like you say, the long haul? Do you think it could be a problem?
Yeah, that could be a problem where people are on try and error.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? I open up a company of real estate because my friend opened it. So I also get in to try it, see if it works.
Oh, yeah.
So you box for a few years, and then before you know it, things have hammered you. You've gone, and maybe that should be the explanation for why they're not celebrating their third birthday.
Yes.
But if a person is passionate about anything, they will be in for if you're passionate about farming, you will be in for the long haul. So the thing is, I think people need to also take time and be a little patient. 2, 3, 5 years is not a very long time, and you can do a lot. And also, the other thing I
see, 5 years is a long time. I would have gotten married and my child would have started school.
Yeah, but your child has started school, but who knows that your biggest break could come in the 5th year.
Oh yeah, that's
if you're
important.
really committed to the cause of doing what you're going to do. And why I'm saying it's not a lot is, during this time, the questions you need to ask yourself is, how am I innovating? If I have farmland, how am I using it to farmland? Because there's agricultural real estate.
Agricultural real estate?
Yes, people buy estates or huge lands to invest in agriculture. It's being done in the US. Many people now are investing into farmlands. If you're in the entertainment industry, you know people like Kanye West have started investing into farmlands.
Can that be a reality here?
Of course, because they say majority of our population is agriculture based. So yes, we can harness these things. Yeah. If you break it up and say, let me look at the 4 parts of the country: north, south, east, and I say in the north, there are certain good soils, maybe from areas of Zombo, Paida, that are good for maybe growing coffee and XYZ. So you cut that off and say, let's plan out growers who are going to grow coffee in that region, and we buy it from them. Then you come to the west, or Buganda, for example. You say there's good soils for matoke and the likes of that. Then you get out growers. Are you seeing how you're building up capacity?
Yes.
So I really, one of the things that I desist from is to sound generic, like other people. I'd rather that when people have these ideas, they go and start. Now, the biggest problem comes in when many people want to start with a bank, which is okay. If you have capacity, start with a bank. But if you don't have full capacity, start where you are. It could be on a 25 decimal plot. Who said matoke has to grow on 1 acre? The same matoke that grows on 100 acres can grow on 1 acre.
Absolutely.
But building up capacity, and that's the popcorn generation thing I was saying. The patience to grow from 1 acre to 2 to 3. And that's normal. But like I said, when you're on my side of the fence, with all things good, 1 acre can turn into five
just
in a short period of time.
while, yes.
So there's room for that. And I would rather people choose that higher life.
Actually,
yeah.
Julius,
Yes,
we're
please.
going for a short break, but
Yes,
just
please.
to wind this up,
Yes.
we've, I think, dealt with some of them a while ago, but
Yeah.
what are some of those pressing challenges
Yes.
that, you know, affect everyone, however much of a strategist you are?
Yeah.
What are some of those, like 2 or 3 challenges that people should look out to? And now when we come back after the break, we
Yeah.
dive into the quick fixes.
Okay. One of the challenges, I'll say, there isn't enough infrastructure to and political will to support people and get them into the fields they want, even areas of real estate. Like for now, real estate in Uganda, we don't have things like zoning. You can start an
Zoning, you mean?
Yes. Where is it zoned for industries? Where is it zoned for commercial buildings? Where is it zoned for residential areas? So you might have good intentions. You want to set up a hotel somewhere, and then before you know it, some guy comes and puts a football pitch. You get what I'm saying? There's no zoning.
A nightclub.
A nightclub. He has literally killed your business.
Your market, yeah.
And he won't care what you think. It has happened in Kololo. Kololo is literally being gentrified by apartments. You understand what I'm saying? You have a beautiful home, and then some guy raises 160 units. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you are renting it out at a certain price, if they raise the building, the person in there might get out, and the next person will come and say, but look at what is outside.
Oh, yeah.
I have no privacy. So therefore, let me pay you less. So there is that lack of zoning and also the political will for the infrastructure. I keep saying all you need is to construct a road going somewhere and make it well and see what happens to that place.
Construct the road, make it well.
Make it properly. Make a proper access. Because when you create access, then you create availability and easy movement of goods. You get what I'm saying? And I have some crazy ideas on how I think even people can improve feeder roads in their area codes.
Feeder roads?
Yeah,
as we go for break one, maybe one idea.
For example, if we live in Nigeria or the likes of Bulindo, where the so-called Buwate, the social class now lives, and you have a man who is a community which is willing to work on their own road. The political system, like the LCs and the government, should not stifle their desire to want to fix that road. You get what I'm saying? If a community is willing to put 20 million together and fix a 3-kilometer road in a good way, allow them, just offer them the guidelines and make sure let them do it. Because you claim you don't have money. Allow them to do it. It is free. But you see, because of this corruption thing, everyone wants that in
part of the cake.
How do we make money to give you? No. They've come up with their money. Give them just the guidelines of how the roads should be, where they should start and stop, and then allow them make it. Let me tell you, in a very short while, 2-3 years, if people are allowed to do that, I have met men, just one individual, willing to do a 3-5 kilometer stretch because it's going to his house or to his apartments.
Wow. Now on that note, Julius, let me go for a short break. We come back, we talk about these quick fixes, we talk about what government can do, and then we call it a wrap. Now, do not go away. I tell you, the desk is getting heated up and heated up. Mr. Mukiza Julius has a lot of insightful tips that for you who is a youth out there, you're interested in real estate, even you, a businessman who thought your business is kicking the bucket. I tell you, you need to reconsider, because the man in the chair, he's the man who's going to give life to your business in terms of real estate. Now, do not go away. The desk returns in a bit. We're at the Nube and we are live. Faith over fear. Those are the words that the man in the chair was preaching to us today. He says that Corona is here. Just do whatever government is telling you, but have faith that it will not live to see another week, to see another month. Now, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, I'm afraid you missed 2 insightful segments of this very lovely episode of The Desk, where we're talking real estate. Now, keep the tweets, the Instagram and Facebook messages and WhatsApp messages coming in thick and fast. Now, I tell you, if you're interested in real estate, you better sit back, relax, or even lean forward, or even stand up. because the man in the chair, I tell you, this is his last segment, and we're going to be calling it a wrap. Now, we're still at the Nube Home. Now, the Nube Home is on Kampala Road, opposite Shell KCB. They're here, they're open, and it's 50% discount. Walk in, get lovely furniture, homeware, kitchenware. And I tell you, they even have gardening. For you who wants gardening equipment, in this holiday of the coronavirus, I tell you, just walk into the Nube. And back to Mr. Mukiza. Julius.
Thank you.
So, Julius,
Yes.
some of the quick fixes to these challenges that the youth have, the businessmen have, the quick fixes, solutions.
Okay. One of the, you see, in as much as political will is important to help develop, especially youth, and grow them into their business arena, even for real estate, I think we need to also get to a point where we stop this to serve a government.
You need to look in the camera and tell them.
We need to stop this to serve a government.
Yambi.
There is a way to innovate, guys. There is definitely a way to innovate. And I don't know whether this is embedded in the African culture or anything, but it's that lack of unity to work together and come up with different things. I'll give you an example. There's something I piloted. I was looking for a way, because I've been doing a lot of real estate in terms of buying and selling, advising people on their developments and all that. But now I want to get more into the development of real estate development, to be a developer, but not like what I am seeing on the market. And one of the things is we need to, one of the advice I can use, many people have networks and people they know. If you have a bankable idea, no sensible real estate man, no sensible human being or businessman with money will refuse to work with you, as long as you can point him to where the numbers are.
Get a bankable idea.
Get a bankable real estate idea and present it to someone who probably has money. Sometimes even a bank. You get what
But
I'm
Julius,
saying?
do we have people here who are ready to invest in young men?
I can tell you they are there. Unfortunately, there are many who are selfish.
Okay.
They want a kange for my family. They're not looking ahead. It's looking to feed now, and not because some people don't see far.
Yes.
They look at their legacy. I had this, I had this, I had this. You can't replicate them in another person. For example, if I am $4 billion rich today, then I should have another person following me, maybe of 3, 2, and 1.
Oh, yes.
But it's very hard to replicate many rich people in this country, unfortunately. But yes, there are some well-intentioned, and I have met them. Well-intentioned.
You have met them?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I have. If you have a bankable idea, use your networks.
Before we even go to that solution you're trying to explain, how does a youth out there get access to such people?
How does a youth out there get access to such people? Well, this is what you see. Mr. Kisame, have, let's say you have friends who might be as young as you are.
For me, probably older.
Exactly. So in your friends network, you could have an uncle, you could have an auntie.
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to say this casually because I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You could have an auntie, you could have an uncle, you could have, start from there. You see, the thing is, even in matters pertaining God and Christ, when you start moving, things begin to show face. But the challenge with many youth is they want to sit with the idea, and somehow they think lands on them. Chimutomere, then he moves. You understand? Start by moving. I'm here. Did you know me 5 weeks ago? Maybe you didn't. But we met somewhere because I was moving and you were moving. Now today we are here. Same thing with real estate. How did I start out? Yes, I was working for an international organization and managing their estate, one of actually the largest estate portfolio in the country, single-handedly by one entity. But in doing that, I asked questions. You get? And as I built up questions, I met who I had to make answer. There's something also called cold calling. Cold calling is when you say, come and buy, let me go and knock on this guy's door. The worst he can do is chase me. What do I have to do? But you have to be sure your idea is bankable. Now, these are not Sejui quick fixes. This is reality. People do this all over the world, but they have something to produce. But don't go there with an idea that is just, it could be just idealistic. Okay, then, though unfortunately we don't have what you'd call angel investors, people who invest in visions, like how Airbnb, Uber, all started as people put money in even 10 years before they made profits. We don't have Ugandan businessmen thinking like that. But that's on you and me to change that.
Okay.
So when you become that person, make sure you're able to put $1 million plus into someone else's life.
Julius, what can government do?
So what can government do? I think on that scale, I would say we've got to get to a place where we can make access of credit easier.
Because everyone is credit unworthy. Everyone.
And that's, of course, there's that integrity bit, but we need to come out with creative ways to make access of credit easy. For example, if I've been saving with them, and this is just an example, I don't want any people in NSSF to shoot me, but if I've been saving in NSSF for 20 years of my work life, you understand, and I have this real estate concept, you get, that I want to take over. It could be in agriculture, it could be in residential or commercial, yeah? And I'm looking for funding. You get what I'm saying? And they have asked me, you get what I'm saying, to put down maybe 20% of the cost of what I'm going to build. If I have 5 partners who are also saving with NSSF, surely, can't you raise the 20%? Shouldn't they avail that money to you?
They should, absolutely.
You get? Because eventually, when it pans out, it will also make money. You get? You can hire people then also who will save with NSSF. But this whole idea of just drawing money together, you understand? And then they wait for you to die, or they wait for you to reach a senile age when you're not ready to think, to actually
use the money. It's like that. Get your money, go and die.
Exactly. Now, this is not try and shoot. I'm just trying to say organization. There are so many people working in organizations that have circles. You get, but people just want to see, hey, our money. How much is it? The excitement of the money is on the bank. Money looking on the bank doesn't mean you're doing anything with it. It's worthless if it's not making more money.
Sorry, but to get back to NSSF, just one thing, like you said, we are not shooting them. We are not shooting them, but you read something very important.
Yes.
Do you think we have people in NSSF that are paid by taxpayers' money to strictly do strategic planning for the organization, to do things like what you just brought up?
Okay. Now, I cannot say I'm an authority on things that NSSF does or doesn't do, because I haven't even dealt with them really as an individual. I didn't work for a national organization that subscribes to them. I work for an international organization at the time.
No, but this is just your idea.
In my opinion, I think, one, some of the investments that are made in their real estate portfolio, I dare believe that 10% of people that save in NSF can't even afford the houses that they've built for investment. You understand what I'm saying?
I get what
so some of these things make me question, why is this being done? You get what I'm saying? But there are businessmen that have come up with things like, I've seen companies like Fakhruddin that has done approximately 5,000 units, 2 bed, 1 bed. Now those people can rally with, because Shadrach, I want to believe once you leave campus, the first thing you want to desire to get is actually a car.
A car, yeah.
Now how about you forget the car, and that 20 million down payment, you put it on a 2 1-bed apartment, because that's all you need, because some of these apartments are ranging from 80, 60 million to 120. You understand what I'm saying? And in the past, I had an idea, and if God wills, I'll take that direction, of where we had wanted to come up. You know how we have so many kwanjulas, and people are raising money for weddings to do certain things. And we had come up with a concept. This is free of charge for anybody who wants to take it up. This one, I'm not being selfish.
Okay. If
you can do it, please take it up. But the idea is, we have wedding meetings. People collect up to 20, 30, 40, 100 million, depending on the scale of people you're dealing with. Yeah. So now, as you do that, this was for us also, both parents and individuals. Instead of getting, you've brought things worth 50 million, 4K flat screen TVs.
Cars.
Invest it in a portfolio of or a down payment for someone's mortgage, to enter that house and enter and rent. Instead of paying rent for 10 years, you're paying it towards your own house. Because I'm speaking from a place of experience, because I had been paying rent for about 9 to 10 years. So I asked myself, and I never used to live in funny places. So I asked myself, if this had happened earlier, I would have literally owned the place by now. Exactly. So instead of putting that down payment on that first car you want to buy, which is also okay, you will surely get a car as sure as it comes. But how about we start with those? And these are very simple things that you can do in society, touch their social lives. You get, as they raise money, as you raise money, both families, Start by giving someone a house.
A house.
It's called intandikwa, as people want to say.
Yes, yes.
But you get, instead of bringing all this dramatic stuff
Yes, dramatic
that you want to
stuff
bring, do you know how many families would be affected? Several. It was done in a certain country. I'm not sure whether it's Mexico or Nigeria, where they did something in a community and they provided cement for couples that were getting married. And before you know it, they had built their first foundation. So that's one of the ways.
Okay.
You know, it's innovating. Yeah. But in Uganda, I saw this as a, how do you penetrate this social market of Uganda who love weddings?
Oh my goodness,
and
Ugandans are
spend
so
so much
social.
money and have a way of capturing part of that money to help those two individuals.
Indians get.
You can start with 2, before you know it, you'll be helping 2,000. Those 2,000 will also help 2,000. And it's a multiplier effect as long as you start. Then
I think you want to wind up because our time is really. I want to say fast spent. It is well spent because we're being educated.
Let me end by saying this. Life is such a perception. And like any business, how you perceive it will definitely affect how you succeed. Now, I don't want to sound like this motivational speaker who say, I started with one bottle of tomato sauce. That is rubbish. But how do I mean? If you have, and listen to me carefully, if you have, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what am I doing with what I already have?
Okay.
If you have any piece of land, what am I doing with it? If I have some, Ghana's like saying, karand somewhere, what am I doing with? Most people have come with this idea of apartments. People, you're not going to eat apartments. You understand what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Apartments have become apartments.
It's a song.
It's a song. Every man with money, the first thing they dive in, apartments. Before you know it will be like Nairobi, which has got a property glut. Apartments everywhere with no one being able to buy them. Yes, we need residential houses. But if you have real estate, don't only think in the lines of apartments. There is tourism. Real estate is part of tourism. There is agriculture. You understand? There is simple things like manufacturing. And people making Uganda waraji in their garages. You understand? Not that I'm a proponent of it, but I'm trying to show you
the angle,
that the space you have is real estate.
Wow.
The question is, what are you doing with it?
Innovate
Julius, and be creative.
We are winding up. 1 minute.
Yes, please.
You are the president of East Africa, all countries combined. What would you do in 24 hours?
I'm the what?
President of East Africa, all countries combined. What would you do in 24 hours? The first thing you will do.
The first thing I will do?
Yes,
the
as president of East Africa. 5 countries combined.
5 countries combined. Wow, that's a tough one. But for sure, I think one of the things I would do is to restructure operations in implementation of government.
You're thinking Kenya, Tanzania, South Sudan, Rwanda.
Exactly, because there is one coherent thing that has affected people. We all know it.
Okay.
It's corruption.
Corruption.
I would restructure that thing. I would make it a bit more lean.
That's what you would do. You enter office, first time restructure.
Restructure.
It's a wrap. Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Because systems build businesses.
Systems build businesses. Thank you very much, Julius. It's been a lovely time.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Hopefully next time it won't take me a month to get you.
No.
Okay. Because
now you have my number.
Okay. All right. Now you've been a lovely audience. It's been Mr. Julius Mukiza, very, very, very intelligent man. I tell you, there are people who you talk to and you actually know they are thinking. You know this is someone who is thinking. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight has been very insightful, very educational, and I tell you, we have gotten whatever we want as the youth down there who want to talk about real estate, who want to invest in real estate. I'm so sure you have now gotten what you want to do. Now, from me and the entire U24 management, would love to sign out. Would love to say good night, good luck, adios for God and my country. God bless beautiful Uganda.